You can see we start out here in this base kind of place. So right off the bat, there's quite a bit of a difference between Revelations 1's raid mode and Revelations 2 here. In Revelations 1, you just kind of started out on a menu screen, and from there you just kind of started proceeding through the game. Here we have kind of its own little story in raid mode in Revelations 2. And Okabe-san is going to go ahead and select this character here. You start out with Clarence Berry in episode 1. And as you play through the game, you're going to be able to unlock more characters for raid mode, as well as you play more episodes of the game, you're going to be able to unlock more episodes and also level up your characters. As you can see here, Claire and Barry are both at level 3 right now as we're playing, as well as get new weapons and new parts for your weapons as you're playing through. And you notice right off the bat that between the two characters that we have here, they start off with basically different stuff unlocked, right? So Barry has 3 different slots for weapons right off the bat that he can select, whereas Claire only has 2 slots for weapons, but she has 2 slots for active skills. And so at least as you start off here, the characters do have different things unlocked from the beginning, and as you proceed through the game, they'll unlock the ability to have more slots, for instance. And here we have the customized screen. You can see that you're able to set the different weapons that you can use, as well as the different skills. Right now, the characters aren't very leveled up yet, so there's not a whole lot unlocked that they can use, but the more you level up, the more stuff you're going to be able to use. And another fun little thing we have here is gestures, and so you can select various different gestures that you're going to equip here. And then as you're playing the game, say in co-op for instance, you'll be able to communicate with your partner using these gestures. Yippee-ki-yay, we have all kinds of different ones that you can do. It's hot. Yeah, nice little facial animation there. So yeah, Okabe-san's finished customizing his character for now, and then he can walk over to this weapons bench here where he can select weapons, and if he's got parts for his weapons, he can attach the parts to the weapons, or he can take the parts off out the weapons bench here. And as you can see here, each weapon's going to have a different number of slots available for it. So this weapon has 3 slots on it, and 2 are open right now. And by basically installing different parts on your weapons, you're going to be able to, make them stronger or customize them to fit whatever your current need is in raid mode. And you can see, as you can see here, there's a couple different kinds of parts, all kinds of different parts that you can get. For instance, you have parts that will raise the damage on the particular weapon that you're using, give you a quicker load, as well as give your weapons, say, ice abilities or fire abilities, which is going to come in handy against the new kinds of monsters that we're going to have in raid mode, where you'll have, for instance, monsters with an ice characteristic, on them. So if you have an ice monster, you're going to want to fight them with fire ammo, for instance. And you're going to be able to find parts throughout, the levels as you play, as well as buy them from the in-game store. And so, of course, you can buy and sell weapons and parts with in-game currency with this purchase and sell options here. And then you can also select PlayStation Store on the PlayStation 3 or 4 here. And if you want, buy certain weapons with real money. This is the base in any event, and what's going to happen is if you're playing co-op, for instance, say you're playing split screen co-op, for instance, both the players are going to be showing up in this same base room here. And so the scenario goes that this is a virtual room, and what happens is the players that are playing in this room are being experimented on. For some reason, they're part of some sort of experiment, and they're being forced to inhabit this room and go through the various raid mode stages. As far as co-op goes, we are going to have split screen co-op available right off the bat, and we plan on having online available as well. Unfortunately, that's not going to come till a little bit later. We'll have that available through a title update in the future. And so as soon as you purchase episode 1, raid mode is available right off the bat. And episode 1 is going to come with 3 dungeons, and each dungeon is going to have 6 missions in it. And the first dungeon in any event is kind of a warm-up. It's not going to test your skill too much, at least in the beginning here. It's very much a way for you to kind of warm up, kind of understand, and get a feel for what is raid mode and how you're supposed to play raid mode. And so for raid mode in Revelations 2, we've really upgraded a lot. We've changed a lot from raid mode in Revelations 1. And if you ever played raid mode in Revelations 1, the way that worked was you'd play through the campaign and then you'd unlock different stages from the campaign in raid mode. And this time it's its own thing. You notice right off the bat that the stages in raid mode, they look and are completely different from what you actually play in the campaign of Revelations 2. All the stages that we have come from basically the scenario of Revelations 2, Revelations 1, and then Resident Evil 6. Originally in Revelations 1, you could level up to about level 50, and in this game you can level up to level 100. So there's really a whole lot of content here for just raid mode alone. So compared to Revelations 1, Revelation 1, if you played raid mode at all, it took upwards of about half an hour to play through one stage in raid mode. And for this game, we decided that we wanted to make the stages a little shorter. You know, if people were, there were some people that, you know, felt like they'd get close to the end of a stage in Revelations 1, and, you know, if they lost, then okay, now I got to start from the beginning. They felt like that was kind of a waste of time. So what we did was we decided, all right, with each stage in Revelations 2, raid mode of Revelations 2 is going to be shorter. We're aiming for about 10 minutes or so. But we've also increased the number of stages. So it took about between 60 and 80 hours to complete all the content, at least to beat Revelations mode in Revelations 1, or sorry, raid mode in Revelations 1. But in this game, if you want to beat the game, it's going to take you upwards of 500 hours. And as we were mentioning earlier, you know, there's going to be new enemies that have attributes on them, and we also have skills with attributes. So this skill, he just threw an ice grenade here, and that has an ice attribute on it. So that's going to be effective against fire monsters later on. And you'll notice that we have an upper right corner here, we have a kind of a counter for how many enemies there are on the stage and how many you've killed. And then next to that is a little icon for a key. So what happens is once you've killed a certain amount of enemies, then you're able to get a key which you can then proceed through the level with. In raid mode stages, you'll be able to pick up ammo, as you see over there in the corner, and then as well as pick up these records from these chests that you see here. And these records are going to be used back at the base in order to unlock weapons or parts. And if you played raid mode in Revelations 1, you might remember that what happens is, you know, as you're playing through a level, if you die, basically you then just have to start from the beginning of the level. Now, if you die in this game, you get to keep the experience points that you got at least, so that's good. And we've also given you the option in this game now that if you want to respawn after dying in a level, you can use what we call life crystals. You can see up in the top left corner of the screen there, we have a couple icons for blue and red life crystals that you can use to respawn. And if you want to get life crystals, then the way you can do it is either by playing daily missions. So we have daily missions that we're going to be putting out, and you basically have the chance to play one of those missions once a day. And you can get life crystals from playing through those. Or if you want, you can purchase those through in-app purchase. And so at this point, Okabe-san's got a choice. He can go ahead and you can see that, you know, he's gotten to the end of the level. He can go finish the level. Although he's still got, as you can see up in the corner, 3 more enemies left to kill if he wants to kill all the enemies and get the medal for the badge, the medal for killing all the enemies. All right, so he's killed all the enemies. He hasn't used any herbs. Should be able to finish the stage and get all of the medals for the stage. Let's see. Here we go. We have another one of our new attributed enemies here. Looks like this guy's gold. So yeah, so far we've only seen enemies from episode 1 here. These guys are called the Rotten. But as you play through the game, you are going to see other enemies, including enemies from other Bio games, Resident Evil games as well. So we haven't specifically announced what enemies we're going to have in there. So we hope you guys look forward to hearing more about that in the future. You'll notice here too that the enemies, these particular guys have these icons over their heads, right? And what happens there is these guys have specific characteristics. In Revelations 1, we also had specific kinds of special enemies with characteristics, and these guys are one of those types. These guys are the giant enemies that, as you can see, have a lot more health than your normal run-of-the-mill enemy here. And in Revelations 2, we've kind of expanded upon that. Now we don't just have like the giant enemies, but we have giant enemies, we have other kinds of enemies. We have, for instance, faster enemies. You're gonna have enemies that have a different icon over their head, but they're gonna be a lot faster than a normal enemy. Yeah, so you could play 2-player co-op, and right off the bat, co-op, split screen co-op is gonna be available. So you can pick up episode 1, and then you can plug in 2 controllers and have at it. That's gonna really help you if, you know, you're playing through and you've gotten to a pretty hard stage where it's like, I just can't get through this on my own. Then you can call on a buddy and have them play with you, and hopefully between the two of you, you can find a way to get through the stage. So yeah, that was raid mode. Hope everybody enjoyed it. And I guess we'll just kind of give our closing thoughts from Okabe-san, the producer here. Okabe-san wants to apologize for having to push the game back 1 week. And so he's gonna go ahead and select the Japanese apology. So for everybody out there, gomenne.